Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. No doubt an entertaining day yesterday in the Call of Duty scene. We had a massive throwback show match back to the Black Ops 3 season. Certainly the guys over at Team Scump may well be hoping for the return to jetpacks in the Call of Duty franchise sooner rather than later. Very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, thought this was kind of entertaining. Of course, we looked at Mindfreak yesterday, confirming what their roster is going to be over at the Apex side of things. Man Chicken being one of their, the starring members of the lineup, and we'll do about a pretty funny reaction to the kind of montage they do right here. But many questions right now with regard to kind of how Rostermania is going, not just for some of the pro players, also for some of the challengers players. This firstly from Enigma I thought was kind of funny, looking at this tweet from Neptune, NYSL confirmed in the tweet right here. Now, I do kind of wonder why New York are taking so long to confirm when we think we know what their roster is going to be. Clayster, Crimsix, Neptune, and Hydra. If you guys have been living under a rock the last several weeks. This from Pentagram, also still a free agent for challengers or the CDL, exploring all options, so hit me up. So difficult to see for a load of these players. The real question mark is to me, what about the players that have been around the pro scene for many a year? What are they going to do? Are they hoping that expansion comes in after? Because we're pretty sure it's not happening this title, so maybe for next year it comes into play. If that is the case, then maybe they do stick around challengers for 1 year, stay at the top of their game kind of, and then get a spot going into the CDL once again. But it's really difficult to predict what's going to happen. Is challengers a waste of time if you're not going to get a CDL spot? Are these top teams more likely to take a chance on up and coming players as opposed to former pro players that are now down there in the challenger scene? And to be fair, it might be affecting a guy like Slack, for example, still a free agent for next year, potentially even a sub spot or assistant coach role. So Slack exploring his options most certainly. If you can't get a spot on one of the starting rosters for next year, then maybe a sub spot somewhere or other could make sense, or even an assistant coaching role. So difficult to say what a lot of these guys do really going into next title. And this of course from Silly as well. Myself, Morks are looking for 2 subs to compete with in Vanguard. So we saw Morks talking about this the other day with Scraps and whether he was going to go out like that. Promised myself I'd give myself a year in challengers regardless, just to prove it to myself. Been going hard in the gym and have taken the recent weeks off for a good reset. Have never been so ready to grind. So good to see from Silly, another player in a similar boat right after, getting removed off Los Angeles Guerrillas. Difficult season over there. Can he make the comeback? Can he make things work? And I think maybe giving it a year in challengers does make some degree of sense. The problem is if expansion doesn't happen next year for whatever reason, what do you do then? Because then you'd think expansion's coming the year after, and then you're kind of chasing something which is going to arrive eventually, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later for a lot of these guys, because there's many players that I think are easily good enough to be in the league that I would like to see in the league, but it doesn't necessarily come so easy, especially nowadays. This I thought was kind of funny as well from Envoy's mother, right, as we kind of looked at during that whole period when, we didn't really know what Envoy was going to go, and Zuma had the leaked DMs to Envoy's mother about the Red Astros. That's kind of what people were reading between the lines or trying to decipher. Turns out the Red Astros actually did exist in real life, and here they are. So yeah, all this kind of comes at full circle in the end. This then was the show match that went on last night. Scump versus Formal, $4,000. Hitch does a fantastic job organising all of these. Just wanted to give a massive shout out to the work he puts in, not just for the OpTic side of things, but for the TST side of things, the content they create over there. These throwback tournaments, during the podcast and stuff when he's doing all the ad reads that no one else seems to want to do. Lots of respect for Hitch and what he's done for the scene and what he continues to do, because he makes the off-season very entertaining. I'd much prefer to watch something like this or catch up with it the next morning, because it's kind of too late for us over here in the UK, but or in Europe more generally. But it's still, I'd much prefer to watch something like this than I would watching Warzone tourneys and stuff like this. This was the rosters anyway. So Scump, Dashy, iLLeY, and Blast on the left side, and then Formal, Envoy, Tempered, Classic on the right. So we kind of thought that probably the favourite should be Scump's team, and it started out certainly like that, but then things a little bit sour, and it kind of got a little bit sketchy towards the ends. But it was a best of 9 show match. It was just phenomenal to watch this game be played on a high level once again. These were some of the highlights that Chrome put together. I'll certainly play some of them at the end of the video for you guys. This was right at the start of the very first map. I thought it was kind of ridiculous. Dashy was streaming right here, and the centering from Dashy is just absurd. Just watching Dashy and iLLeY, and Scump also, in jetpack titles, Scump was probably the best player throughout the entirety of the jetpack era, and he didn't really seem to have missed a step at all, to be honest, coming back. And Blast, definitely a great search and destroy star in this game as well. So their team was kind of stacked. Dashy was sending some ridiculous shots here with the M8, and the M87. What a beautiful weapon, and also with the Locust in the search and destroys. So it was just a great time, honestly. Just looking at some of these highlights, the shots are just out of control. The skill gap in this game is just fantastic as well. And Dashy almost gets the GI unit straight off spawn, but decides to chill this gunfight and ends up losing it anyway. But we need another jetpack game pronto, says Crone, as a result, right? Other pros thinking about this, right? The possibility of bringing it back. Look at the skill gap right here with the wall runs and all this type of stuff. It's just kind of glorious. But you don't really get that nowadays, right? Because I guess the newer players, the more casual players, having a bit of a harder time competing in this kind of situation. situation, which is why it was so fun to play public matches back on this game if you could actually use the movement very well. So, I mean, yeah, that's the thing, Reg. Will they ever go back to jetpacks? Is that something they want to do? I don't really know. But it was very entertaining to see these guys compete with each other, to be honest, first of all. Like Scump, Dashy, and iLLeY. Definitely some good chemistry going on, but also Dashy being in some of these search and destroys. I mean, look at this snipe right here. Pretty damn disgusting stuff. But anyway, game 1, this will go through the series kind of as it went. Dashy dropped 49 game 1. I mean, 49 in 19. Like, straight out of the rip, this guy was absolutely killing it. I mean, Floppy Penguin. So Floppy Penguin is Scump's game attack, whatever he was using in this game. You've got Envoy, Classic, Temp, and Formal on the other side. Formal didn't have the prettiest game 1, but definitely turned things around. And I mean, yeah, they outslayed them brutally. I mean, it was a 70-point club game 1. Dashy goes 49 in 19. It was not the prettiest start. iLLeY's like soaking up 2 minutes in hill as well. So yeah, it wasn't great for Team Formal off the rip. Then they go into the search and destroy as well. And honestly, it just did continue, right? They were getting absolutely bodies. Blaz goes 10 in 0, like he doesn't even die in the search and destroy. And Dashy was in some pretty crispy snipes as we just saw. So that was game 2. That was then a 2-0 advantage for Team Scump. First to 5, I suppose, in this best of 9 format. And they continued really on the fire that they were going on. I got this from Dashy's stream right here before I guess it went off like halfway through the tourney. This was a breach uplink, as you can see. Floppy Penguin, that big Scump's going 33 and 18. Dashy's positive as well. I mean, the slaying was absolutely ridiculous, really, on the side of on the side of the Team Scump guys. But to be fair, the other team, like Envoy and Formal's team, were warming up into things. And Envoy, especially when we go into this map 5, really actually, well, he turned up massively. This, though, was Stronghold Hardpoint. You guys may well remember back in the good old days, like Stronghold Hardpoint used to be Scump's map. He had some crazy good moments on that one. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember the Splice one that was also put out last night by Gurge on the Flank Twitter that we can look at in a second right here. This was that clip from, I'm pretty sure this is the ESWC event, it actually says right here, ESWC 2016 in the grand finals when Scump versus Splice was being played. I forget who's on the caster, I think it's Bryce and Ton maybe. But I mean, yeah, Scump was making some crazy plays. I'm pretty sure Bance slides in here when he like shoots his body or something. Oh, okay, that happened before this clip maybe, and this is the case. Yeah, he shoots Bance's body. That was made the crowd go absolutely insane. But I mean, yeah, this is when Scump was just bodying people on this stronghold map. Of course, back in these days, it was the VMP that was the dominant weapon, whereas nowadays, since they actually nerfed the VMP after Black Ops 3's life cycle concluded, and now the Kuda's the dominant gun, at least in terms of SMGs, but it didn't really seem to affect Scump. He was frying regardless, so that became a 4-0 advantage for Team Scump, but then things started to turn around and get a bit sketchy for them, right? So this game, we were kind of saying, like, is Envoy keyboarding again? Because Envoy goes 19 in 6. I think at a time here, he was like 13 in 4, 13 in 5 or something, so he really turned up on the last few rounds. People were suggesting, okay, maybe he plugged in the keyboard and mouse like he maybe used back in the day on this. I think he was also using the Pharaoh on this map, which is like a 4-round burster SMG weapon, which of course, like, well, apparently that was a pretty popular weapon with some of the keyboarders. So Envoy was killing it. He almost dropped 20 kills in this surge, and that kind of sparked maybe a bit of a comeback here for the Team Formal guys. That was now 4-1 in this game. Then they lost an evac uplink, and it's 4-2 in this game. So you can see some good plays here, really, despite the slaying actually being pretty dominant for the guys over at Team Scump. I imagine they made some misplays because every single player on Team Formal went negative here, and they still won this map. So I imagine not maybe the best uplink play from some of these guys. I know Scump was kind of talking to iLLeY about how exactly you play some of these situations. Then they go into a breach hardpoint where they thought they would close things out. iLLeY dropped 41, but it's not enough. I mean, Classic goes negative again, but doing the dirty work, baby, because Envoy is 39 and 28, and they win this 250 to 236. So all of a sudden, it's 4-3, and it looks like you're going to get like a Minnesota Rokkr versus John Ultra massive comeback. Doesn't quite happen in the end, though. It goes into uplink infection, and yeah, I mean, it's Scump and co that get the job done in the end, slaying out pretty massively as well. Envoy goes 34 and 23, so pretty impressive stuff, all things considered, from both sides of things. And yeah, a fantastic tournament. Well, it's a fantastic show match at the very least. It's 5-3 in the end for Team Scump, kind of as expected, but it was not quite so convincing. And it was good to see, at least for Hitch and co, that it wasn't a complete blowout, right? We got to see more maps at play, and eventually they get the job done. Raise a load of money as well, which of course is fantastic to see. This also, though, that some people were certainly looking at, right? With iLLeY was a lot of the time he was using an Envy camo. Of course, Envy, Dallas Empire, they're kind of the same thing. But doing this, you can see he goes here, he looks at his pistol, it's got an OpTic Camo on, the SVG, it's got the OpTic Camo on as well. So, people are looking at this, and he's kind of, I know he showed it to the stream deliberately, like that must be what's going on here, just to kind of have a laugh about it. But, at this point, it just simply cannot stop. We do wonder when everything is going to get confirmed. I imagine it will get confirmed at some point or another. This methods, just as we close things down, Floppy Penguin deserves to be in the CDL. Yeah, Scump was putting on a show no doubt in this throwback match. And, you know, who knows, right? If Jetpack were to come back, I mean, that'd be pretty scary, right? Dashy, Shotzzy, iLLeY, and Scump would be absolutely deadly in a Jetpack era, I'm sure of it. But, yeah, maybe that's not going to happen anytime soon. Of course, Modern Warfare 2 apparently is going to be the thing that happens next time around. But we're imagining that's still going to be boots on the ground. But maybe at some point, I'm pretty sure, like, I think maybe they said until 2023 it's still going to be boots on the ground. And after that, we're not really sure. So maybe it happens. Maybe the return comes through. These things always go in ebbs and flows. It's like a fashion, I suppose. What's in fashion? Is boots in the ground in fashion? Is Jetpacks in fashion? It'll come back eventually. Will some of these pro players still be competing when it does come back? I would imagine. Maybe some of them will, maybe some of them won't. But, you know, it was certainly an entertaining time for Call of Duty. And, well, proved probably one of the best experiences to watch competitively that really we've ever had in Call of Duty. But very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. I really get upset that YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
I'm going bunker. Oh,
I didn't even have DS on. Fuck.
Yeah, see one mid.
I'm high wall running.
Where's he? Where's he, mid?
Oh my Dashy! Boost! Oh my gosh!
Of course, Dylan. Come on, Dylan. I played with you for a whole year, brother.
Give us the dough.
I played with you for a whole year, Dylan. I know your strats.
Wait, what did you just
They could.
I don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah, he's here.
Dub, Dylan.
Donald?
Shit.
That's 4. Oh my god, the series is over.
I'm bringing time.
Once more, warning hill.
L1, Nicker.
He's one shot.
Dead.
Nice.
L1 getting one
Right,
shot.
right.
Absolute. Nice.
Right, dub.
Yo, one more on me in
Dub,
bricks.
dead.
Time. Dead. Nice
Yo,
4
I'm
dead. Holy shit.
Wait, I'm playing this GI unit. Hold up.
Wait, did you actually get one?
I'm 300 off.
No, you're not.
They flip.
Yeah, I mean, it's over, bro.
one.
Just flip him.